Hey guys, Baseplay 12 or Mitch as you guys know me. Today's video, I did take a lot of time, research, a lot of prayer before I did this video, just because I know it's a touchy subject and it's pressing a lot of buttons right now across the world. And so I just didn't want to put out a flippant video. I wanted to really make it meaningful and thought-provoking, and I definitely wanted to hear God's heart in this one here. So just know that this video has a lot of leaning into Him and thought before I made this video. It's going to be about masks and vaccinations. And if you're looking for some type of verse or scripture that says whether that's correct or, right or wrong, you're not going to find it. But what I want to do today is just go over the idea of masking or vaccinations to the point where it's becoming a stumbling block for people. So, here's what I'm hearing from different people, and what I mean by people are Christians, is they're bashing each other. Like, why are you getting a vaccination? Why are you wearing a mask still? And they're fighting with each other, and it's definitely grieving the Lord's heart when He sees this because right now there's so much fighting going on with everything political, everything social justice and everything like that, that to add this now to it, I can just see the Lord shaking His head going, when are they going to get this? And so what verse kind of was brought to my mind about this is in John 13:35. By this, all people will know that you are my disciples if you have love for one another. So, are Christians going to disagree about vaccinations or masks? Of course, it's happening. And the sad part is they're calling each other dumb about it. You're dumb for doing this, you're dumb for doing that. And the sad part is that the non-Christians are looking at this going, how are they different than anybody else? If they're going to fight and argue about this, they don't look like they're loving each other. And so what's happening is they're creating this issue, this rift between each other about vaccinations or masks. And to the point where they're fighting, they're arguing, they're not going to get along with each other anymore over these issues. And so I just felt the Lord saying, there's so much that needs to be done. Is this a hill that you're really going to die on? And I can see Jesus going, I already died on the hill for this. And He's basically saying, let's not get distracted with the whole vaccinations and masks thing. Not that they're not important, but I can feel Jesus saying, I'm important. People's souls are important. How much time are you going to waste fighting about masks and vaccinations when the world is perishing? They need to be told the good news of the gospel. And some people are out there busy getting hung up on masks and vaccinations. So I just felt the Lord tugging at me saying, you know what? You guys can take your stand, whatever it is, on masks and vaccinations. But I felt the Lord say, don't let that consume you to the point where telling people about the Lord is now taking a back seat. Because I'm so into making sure I get my point across that I don't get a chance to show people that, hey, you know what? We can have a difference of opinion, but I still love you. I still cherish our friendship. And that's just, again, the sad part is people are losing their friendships over these, things that they're having in their head. Again, people are going to have their own ideals and views on this, but they're letting that override the friendship, override the love that they're supposed to have for one another, and it's grieving the heart of the Lord. And also, God says, don't stand in judgment with people on this. Romans 14:13. Therefore, let us stop passing judgment on one another. Instead, make up your mind not to put any stumbling block or obstacle in the way of a brother or sister. So, we're not to let these vaccination or masks issues get in the way of being a brother or sister to somebody. It's just plain and simple. You guys can have your disagreements and move on with it. I know people that they have different views and they're like, you know what? We're going to agree to disagree on this. And we move on. And we're not going to let it come between us. We're not going to let it come between all the years of friendship, all the love you're supposed to be having for this person. It's sad right now to see people, they're losing friendships over this right now. So this video is just to be an encouragement to you guys, is to, if you're going to have your views, fine. And everybody has them. Vaccinations, not vaccinations, wearing a mask, not wearing a mask. And that's fine. And if that's a battle that you want to wage, fine. But I feel the Lord is saying, don't let that battle be more important than the battle that we're engaged in right now, the battle over winning people's souls to the Lord. Because that would be the most important thing. And the enemy right now would love to have us fighting over masks and vaccinations rather than to be out there talking to people and, showing them the love of the Lord. The enemy would be like, yeah, be distracted by that, because every minute you're distracted is 1 minute less that you can tell somebody else about God. That's 1 minute less that people get to see God's love through you. And so today, and not that I'm perfect, but because I can get that same way too. I can lose focus and say, wow, this is so important, and lose track of what really is important. So at the end of the day, guys, and I'm going to wrap this video up. At the end of the day, God is saying, we have our different passions, our beliefs. All he's saying is, don't let that become more important than your passion or belief in God and being able to influence the world towards him, rather than pushing people away because of your beliefs. And it's so strong that it overwhelms the friendship and ties are broken. And people are like, why should I be around this person? And to the point where now people are looking at Christians going, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to fight over this thing and end up, with an attitude like that. And I just feel God shaking his head and just weeping over this, because so many people are not hearing the good news of the gospel, because some people are getting too wrapped up in this that it's now become more important than telling people about him. So you guys can throw it down in the comments section what you think about that. I am, again, not coming from a view like I am perfect. I have to constantly every day just refocus myself going, that's important, but it's not going to be more important than my relationship with God and telling people about him. Okay? All right, guys, I am Base Play 12, or Mitch, as you guys know me. I will see you in tomorrow's base cover.